Wow, is it just me or did round 2 of these playoffs absolutely fly by? With 4 more handshake lines this week, we are now down to just 4 more teams remaining. But what a finish to round 2. Like a lot of finish. This week was filled with plenty of emotion, pissed off players, pissed off coaches, and pissed off fans. We saw whatever this guy was as part of an absolutely historic meltdown by Toronto as Leafs Nation was put through the ringer. Checking in on Steve Dangle.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yikes. We saw officials continue to take a beating during these playoffs, and even the fans are. In Dallas, this poor guy caught a rogue puck straight to the dome as that had to hurt, but maybe the theme of this week, aside from the Leafs choking when it mattered most, was exceptional goaltending. We had shutouts galore this week with 4 different shutouts in the 8 games we had. So, officially halfway through these Stanley Cup playoffs, let's recap the end of round 2, starting with the nasty, which primarily came out of the Jets-Stars series. It took them a bit to get going, but the end of the third, game 5, it seemed like every whistle we had something, and it was a tightly contested elimination game where tempers were high, as even old Wes McCauley took a tumble along the boards. Then by the Dallas bench, Ben not letting Scheifele through meant Tanev came into the rescue, but in the meantime, Ben would pop Scheifele as he and the linesman both went tumbling now.
My face hurts.
And out of this, Ben did get a fine, but somehow the Stars were the ones that got a 2-minute power play during the game, which was interesting. Now, game 5, less of the nasty, but the emotions were running high for sure, and Marchand was at the core of it. He laid a massive hit on Scheifele and then another on Oilers, both of which he left the feet a bit, no? But headed to Florida, it was Marchand blown up by Benoit, Bobrovsky blown up by his own teammate Bennett, popping the mask of old Bob, and then in Washington, Wilson with a nice hit on Jarvie. In game 7 between the Leafs and the Cats, we also saw referee Chris Rooney catch a follow-through stick to the top of the eye, as that was a bit of a scary sight. Word is he is okay, just missed the eye, so that is great to hear. But with that, let's do a speed round of how each series ended. Oilers Knights game 6 was a slow pressure cooker of an anxiety-inducing game for both teams, as we found ourselves scoreless through 60 minutes of play. Hill was feisty as hell the game prior, getting involved maybe a little too much, and in game 6, it nearly cost him again. But the one that will haunt Vegas all summer was this: Howden unable to finish it in the third period, and instead, in overtime, Nurse's shot on net caused a frenzy, and out of it, the Oilers punched their ticket to round 3 for the 2nd straight year. Kapanen, check your bingo card, was credited as, listen to this, he now finished the series with more goals than Eichel, Hurdle, Howden, and Barbashev combined. The bigger story, though, undoubtedly was Stu Skinner. He was solid this game again, and now found himself on the other end of 127 minutes of not letting in a goal. Back-to-back shutouts for the man, as this goal from Draisaitl in game 4 was actually the last goal scored for Vegas. And yet, I genuinely love how unsatisfied McDavid was after the game. Speaking of netminding, though, after Wilson, out of respect, you love to see it, joined the storm surge in Carolina, as they went back to DC, arguably the 2 best netminders of the playoffs put on a show. As check this out from Thompson. Freddie Anderson, though, also fresh off of a shutout, had a fantastic game 5, several ridiculous saves made in the third period of a tied game, but it was only tied because while it looked like the Capitals had taken a 2-1 lead earlier in the game, this was called back for being offside. And so while Jarvie got a double doink to nearly take the lead, here instead, with under 2 minutes remaining in the game, Svechnikov beat Thompson from a ridiculous angle, and it's an absolute heartbreaker. That was officially the end of what was an incredible season for Ovi and the Caps. I mean, he broke the all-time goals record this year. What a run. But is he done? Well, not so fast.
I just packed my stuff. I'm going to Hershey, so they help us. So.
Oh, wow.
As for the Canes, they look truly scary. Adding Alexander Nikishin now, too? I mean, come on. Also Also insane though, Stankoven at 22 has made the conference finals for the second straight year. But with that, headed to the Central Division showdown with the Finnish Mafia fully assembled, we had ourselves another Finnish Hattie, but not Rantanen as you may expect. It was Granlund that put the Stars up 3-1 in this series, headed back to the Peg, where, surprise, surprise, the goalies were at the heart of another one. Otter flashing some leather. Meanwhile, Helly for the Jets was fantastic at home. Maybe my favorite moment, though, came at the end of the second. The Jets appeared to score, but punching the puck in, it was waved off. Well, remember in Game 3 where the Stars scored a wonky one that counted despite it coming from a kick? Yeah, the Jets faithful were all over this. Anyway, after Helly posted his back-to-back shutout at home, we would go to Dallas, where this was an incredible moment. Mark Scheifele would open the scoring for the game, and with news breaking prior to this one that his father Brad had passed away, it was already special to even see him in the lineup for warm-ups, but this was really cool. By the way, quickly, Sagan and him have dueled for who gets to be last off ice in the past, but on this particular night, Sagan gave it to Mark. Just a small detail I loved. All that said though, the Stars were the better team. This one ended up turning into a U.S. goalie duel in the later half of the game. Both netminders putting on a clinic, just some fantastic saves. This one from Appleton is the chance that'll haunt the Jets all summer, because a late third period trip from Scheifele was just what the Stars needed in overtime, where they officially sealed the deal at home. Harley with the game winner, and what an emotional end to this series.
So proud of him. I mean, his dad would be so proud of him.
Just courageous, what he did tonight.
So the Stars moving on to the conference final for the third straight year, where they'll be meeting the Edmonton Oilers, which means it left just one spot remaining. Who would meet the Canes? Now, I have to caution, there's a serious choking hazard ahead, because while it shouldn't come as a huge shocker, this was a slow-moving car crash the entire hockey world got to watch. The Toronto Maple Leafs laid an absolute egg in Game 5. Truly, Matthews should actually get an assist for the opening goal here. He, at this point, was the only player in NHL history with 400 goals and yet 0 goals past the first round. That was followed up by a nice redirect by Lawton, who would make it 2-zip Florida before Marner with the spinorama up the middle of the ice. And while this one would unfortunately get one too many touches for him to get the secondary apple, you gotta commend the effort, as the Leafs were booed off the ice after the second. A jersey also hit the ice, and oh no, a second? Yes, a second jersey hit the ice. It was a truly horrendous game for the Leafs. And so, Austin, let me ask you.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Afterwards, we saw this Habs fan trolling Leafs Square, but have no fear. This dude, whoever he is, was in Sunrise, and no way that works, right? Well, they scored, and who is that?
It's me. It's Austin.
No freaking way. I guess the stick to the face fired him up, and backstopped by Joseph Woll, who put together the fourth shutout we saw this week. The Leafs were suddenly Game 7 bound, where they had Biebs in the crowd. Surely, just the law of averages, they can't lose a... Oh no. It's happening again. That's right. They made history, giving up 75 shot attempts through 2 periods of play. Woll never stood a chance, as it was a complete meltdown again. Berube was chewing through the bench and seemingly a pack of gum a period. Marner suddenly realized his negotiating power is now all but gone. And just a friendly reminder, he blocked that Rantanen deal. The jerseys began to rain down once again. During play, by the way. Not cool, but who other than Brad Marchand with a 3-point night would put the lid on this one. 6-1 again. This was easily the Leafs' biggest moment of the game. That's right, a butt save. Yikes, as the 4 best regular season teams are now all officially done. So, after saluting an encore of boos, here's what Matthews had to say.
Too many passengers.
Does that mean he was riding shotgun? It's certainly a tough pill to swallow, I'm sure, for you Leafs fans. But for everyone else, let me know your thoughts on the final 4 matchups. Cats, Canes, who you got? And then Oilers, Stars. That should be a banger. Who you taking there? But lastly, this was a bit of an odd week with the way scheduling worked out, so I had to switch up my format a bit. I hope you still enjoyed it. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next one.